So, this is an opportunity for us to take a look at Xello, our platform that we are using in grades 7 through 12 to help us achieve the Kansas State Board of Education's charge to lead the world in the success of each student. And the nice part about that mission and then this program, Xello, is that it really does give us as teachers an opportunity to connect with students in very, very meaningful ways and understand what their likes, passions, skills, experiences are. And bring those to life in our classrooms. So, we want to take an opportunity to walk you through today how you can integrate Xello and some of those tools and some of those profiles that are really a part of the platform. It's a great opportunity for us to take the strategic plan's idea of a personalized learning plan for every student and bring that together with our desire as teachers to make learning relevant in all of our classes and to connect our students with that information that will set them up for college and career readiness. So, really, at its core, the work of our classroom can connect very intentionally to the strategic plan, and then also to the Kansas State Board of Education's vision that we in Kansas will lead the world in the success of each student. So, I want to walk you through some really hands-on and very particular ways that we can use the tool that we know as Xello and connect with students and use that tool within our curriculum. Again, it's not just about the content that we teach, it's about understanding who those students are in front of us, but also helping them understand where they can connect the content and that next step after high school. So let's walk you through again the process of getting into the profile. It's not easy. It's not just as easy as typing in Xello and going through a web search. The best way, again, is to go to our district website. And the quickest way is to hover over academics, click on student resources. When we click on student resources, it's going to give you this little piece right here. You just click on Xello. And by clicking on Xello, it's going to ask you to confirm your Google credentials. So I would suggest that you just make sure that you are using your SMSD Google credentials to log into Xello World. And you're going to get an educator dashboard that looks a little bit similar to this. And this is going to give you a lot of information about maybe who's logged in, and depending on your permissions. But if you're going to practice this and you're going to look at this from the perspective of the student, you can go to your demo student account and select the grade and then click view as student. So now you're going to be seeing exactly what the students are seeing in terms of this particular tool. So you can see that I've actually gone through and done those first steps, the matchmaker personality style, mission complete learning style. And that's tremendously important, and hopefully in your advisory classes, your students have done that. If they haven't, really kind of makes this a little bit more difficult moving forward. But there's a couple of things that I want to point out for you here. There's a lot of different lessons that can be done. In this case, we have a junior profile, an 11th grader profile, and there's an interest lesson, choosing a college, career demand, and entrepreneurial skills that are assigned for students in the 11th grade. For you as teachers, though, you can see people's progress, what they've identified along with those lessons, but also if these are not particularly important lessons for your content, you can instruct the students to click on all lessons. And when they click on all lessons, they will have access to their grade 11. We're looking at an 11th grader, but then they will have access to all of the previous lessons that are assigned from 7th grade forward, even 6th grade. So if you want them to look particularly at um, getting experience out in the workforce, you can have them go to their Xello profile, click on that view all lessons, and then go to getting experience and making the most out of those experiences. And you'll see it's a 20 to 30-minute activity that you can have them do in class. And by clicking on the get started, it's going to ask them to identify a number of things based on the prompt. And you can then have them go through this and walk through each of these pieces as they are going through these different parts of the getting experience module or lesson. They may have done these in an advisory session, but if not, this could be an opportunity for you to, if you're doing a study skills class or a skills based class, you can have them do any of these lessons and see their progress along these lessons that might connect you to your classroom. It could be workplace skills and attitude, work values, lots of different ways that you can use this to connect with the students. Now, the other thing that I want to walk you through and make sure you understand is when we look at explore options, this is where I think the meat and potatoes of Xello is very, very powerful. So for students, let's say you want to do an exploration of majors, and what is that college going process going to look like? By clicking on explore majors, let's say you want to look at accounting. And you're having students do some career exploration or some college exploration around an area of interest that's connected to the curriculum. Now, in accounting, you're going to see what they've put together here is a description. There's some related careers, typical courses for this major, all kinds of different things, different places in Kansas that offer this major. You can have them do a college search around, Arkansas, and these are the places where they offer an associate, bachelor's, graduate, or a non-degree option. There's a whole lot of information in here, and they can even save this to their profile, which is going to help them look at these later on. Now, if we go back to explore options, um, you can go back and see that there might be schools, and if you're having them do a study of the economic feasibility of colleges in Kansas, let's take a look at Kansas in particular. You can go to more filters, and we want to look at, well, let's say, rural schools in Kansas that are both public and private, that give you a 4-year program, and it's going to give you the profile of 2 schools. Okay, so Barclay and Sterling, there could be any number of different things that you're looking at in terms of filters. Can say small town. Now it's at 16 schools. And so now you're looking at small town colleges and universities, where students could look at Bethel College in Newton, Kansas, and they could do some exploration about ethnicity, gender, population. There's lots of different ways that they can start linking this to the work that you're asking them to do. ACT composites, you could have the expenses and what it could take to go to Bethel, before financial aid. There's a whole lot of information just on that particular school within Xello. So you may find it helpful or a great opportunity to explore that within your classes. But I think probably the most important as we look at the individual plan of study and achieving our strategic plan and the Kansas State Board of Education's plan is to really look at what is beyond school and what are those career paths possibly. And when you click on Explore Careers, there are lots of different filters that we can look at. We can change our salary to say, you know what, I really know that in this area, I need to be at a minimum of $40,000. And I want to see what it looks like for a 2-year college or a 4-year college. But I want to look at those careers that are increasing in demand. And look down here, every time I click something, it's going to shift the number of careers that have been identified. I'm a math teacher, and I want to look at with my students those careers that are 2-year, 4-year college degree careers that are increasing in demand. And I want to look particularly at those that have to do with math. And now I am down to 45 careers, and I can click on those 45 careers and begin an exploration. Now, the beautiful thing about this profile is I have done some of those inventories, those interest inventories, and those things right at the very beginning of the process. And so I've identified careers, I've identified clusters, and every single time I do these searches, it's going to tell me that this is an excellent match, or a good match, or a fair match. Um, and all the way on down to those careers that are probably a poor match based on my inventory. Now, what I like about that though is the inventory doesn't limit you only to those careers that are a good match. I think I like science, so I want to look at this pharmacologist career. And what do I know about this now? Well, just like we know, it fits our profile here. And this is what pharmacologists do. And this goes through their job description, goes through their career clusters. But what I love about this is it has interviews from people in the field. Here's an interview from Jeff. Here's an interview from Julia. There's interviews that we can have them watch. What are those core tasks? What is the workplace going to look like? This is well suited to these personality styles. There's your earnings. And here again, if what does that look like? I think I'm going to move to Colorado. Well, what does it look like in terms of entry, median, and experience salary for this career path in Colorado? And how do I get there? How do I get to, this pharmacology pathway? And it gives me the requirements and those responsibilities, those educations, the related majors. And now I can start linking to different colleges and careers and look at them as we explore. So, the nice thing I liked about this too is it says that pharmacologist is it was a poor match for me. And if we go back to, well, let's say a toxicologist, it identifies toxicologist as another poor match. But this gives me an opportunity, since I was looking at the pharmacologists, to see why what other careers might connect with that. So if we go back down to, let's get back to pharmacologist, see if I can get to the particular part I wanted to show you. Um, when we click on these, it sometimes will allow us to see why those might be considered poor matches for us. And of course, I can't get to it at this point as to why it would kind of identify that. But if we look now back at this explore options piece, we can see all of these are places where we can help students identify, exploring. Let's take a look at skilled trades. These are the different things that we could explore within majors within skilled trades. But if we're looking at how do I integrate this within my course, this allows us to use some of the lessons that are available, but it really allows us to look at and understand the different career schools and majors options. And more importantly, you can also use this to view your students' profiles. So if you've got students that you're connecting with and you want to look up different parts of a student profile, you can now see all of these things that the students have identified, and you can connect with these students in meaningful ways. This student has said that they want to be an electronics repairer or a possibly computer scientist. And now you can begin to explore, all right, well, what does it say about computer science within Xello, and how can I help? How can I use this to help connect me with this particular student or those students that have identified this? So I really do hope that this gives you a little bit of a look at what we can do within these student resources and Xello on our district website, really as we work to achieve the goal of the Kansas State Board of Education, but most importantly, the work of our strategic plan in our district. Hopefully you have a chance to look at the resources included here to help you explore Xello even more. And I hope this gives you an opportunity to integrate more fully this wonderful tool that we have access to in our district.